not too hard to put together the events that took place yesterday. But for some, it really will. They cannot connect the dots about big tech, big money. They cannot, okay, because it goes against their political ideology. So I want to break this down for you as best that I possibly can, to maybe you can help share this with, so you can help, share it yourself with people that you know. A situation took place in November where big tech and big money went against one group of people. Now, whether you believe that or not, there's a massive amount of folks in this United States of America who actually saw it, believe it, and understand it. So that was basically negated by one side. The folks on the side that I stood on were looking at this like, that's completely not fair. Like, how do that? It just happened in broad daylight. How do people do that? We're in the middle of the night. Things happen. Affidavits are people are sworn in. They are, they're held under criminal perjury if they lie. Well, that whole thing happened, and the folks on the other side, on the left, were like, haha, they kind of like laughed and here, take your L. Well, what we had been saying for a long time was that if the situation is flipped, the people on the opposite side, it'll have to be something different, something that actually hits them in some place that they care about. And that's what happened with yesterday. It took place against them politically, yes, politically, and then monetarily with big tech and big money. Big tech shut down certain chat rooms of the people who were leading that charge for GameStop. Big money shut it down as well too, using their own apps and their own investment tools. So what does that leave you and me? This means that, like I've been saying, like several have been saying, that there is a bigger game afoot here that was meant to divide. And this is why it's going to be so important for you. If you have any type of intellectual honesty, you will know that the SJWs, the social justice warriors, have been fomenting this thing on ethnicity, or what's so-called race and gender, intersectionality, all that stuff. They are pushing this just to keep up a smokescreen. Just to keep up the smokescreen. Because they got to still blame somebody for all the things that they actually are doing themselves. What we have been saying this whole time is that there is a massive effort, a worldwide effort, to negate freedom in America. People come here. There's those caravans are coming here because they want freedom, but they don't know that they're actually running into establishment that's the same as what they've run from. Freedom in America is being negated from the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, and folks are trying to do their best to eliminate your ability to even make money, spend money, and use your money however you want to use it. This is all happening right now, right in front of your face, left, right, center. There's a group of people who are above all of our pay grade, who use all of their power for whatever purposes they want to use it for, and are using it against the average person. The average person is the American, okay? But the average person is around the world. The globalist elites are not just in America. They are all over Europe. They're all over Africa. They're all over South and Central America. These globalists, they have infiltrated not only our political systems, but religious systems, because they push it through guess what? Environmentalism. These things are all connected. So you have big tech, you have big farm, you have big education, you have big money, you have big government, but you also have big environmental lobby. The whole thing is to move the world into a globalist, into globalism. But if you don't see that, if you don't see like how these things are connected, believe me, if ever a person like an AOC ever was able to connect those dots, you got to understand what that's going to do to the left, the far left, okay? That is going to jack some people up when they realize that they've been played. And this is how it actually works. They indoctrinate the people, the kids, from their schools, kindergarten, all the way up through 12th grade. They preach this, you're going to die, we're all going to die, and that you need to save the planet. They basically start to use a real masked, clever, narcissistic tool. It's actually extremely narcissistic. But they push this through the school system, through the education system, so that they can close the gap on old and young, which is actually why it's really important to understand what COVID was used for. It actually attacked old people. I said that a long time ago, and that's for a specific reason. So, when you see what happened yesterday, when you put together what's taking place now, understand that the people on the left are having a real big issue right now, because something inside is going to tell them, despite all of the political things that they've heard, and real hate, okay, real hate just for Donald Trump. It's not, I have a little bit of disdain and he's a liar and he doesn't matter. No, it's actual hate. That's why they were infected with that stuff. Well, that hate led to a blindness. That blindness led to them being used. Now, they've made excuses for the platforms. They don't have to hold, they don't have to hold up certain types of speech because it's a private platform. But those private platforms went after the other free speech platforms. They went after the parlors. They went after, and they went to parlors saying that they got, some radicals in there, while they literally have pornographers, sex traffickers, freaking terrorists operating on Twitter and Facebook, and there's nothing said about that. So come on, be intellectually honest with that. Nobody's stupid. So the free speech is being negated, and it's not just happening to the conservative or Republican. People are born with the ability to make their own money and use it however they want to. But when big tech and big money shut that down, you have to understand this was about everybody. But one group was used against another group, while the other group was basically playing the puppeteers over all the whole thing. And you had one guy trying to point it out, and everybody didn't like the way he tweeted. It's whoopee, flip and do. Who cares about the tweets? He was pointing to something that was the truth, and people didn't want to efface the truth because the truth was too hard to grasp because they had been so politicized. You had big media used all of their influence against people. 95 to 96% of the media was used against the American public to foment the hate, the stereotypes and all that stuff. People were used. So now you, as an average American, I'm talking to you. I don't care which side of the aisle you are on. You're an average person that gets up, goes to work, has their kids, wants to save up for education, wants to own a home and all that stuff. Big education has enslaved so many people through student loans. Big money holds people back from actually creating their own wealth. Big government takes money from people and uses their money for the pet projects that they want to, use and create. Big environment, what they do is they negate the truth about what's actually happening with the environment, and they use their influence through big media, through big tech, through big money to push the idea that we're all going to die because we're bad people here in the United States, negating India and China. And then you have all the other bigs as well too. So this is why I want to talk to you. Okay, basically, real simple. If you can open your eyes for just 2 seconds, look at what big tech did to you as a liberal, you as a progressive, you as a Democrat, you as a mainline, middle-of-the-road Democrat, for your 401k, for your stock portfolio, whatever, and what they were willing to do to one group of people that included you and your political side, you might be able to see what I've been saying, that they are not after just Republicans. They're not after just conservatives. They're not after the libertarians. They're after the American public. They want to rule the American public because these people who are puppet masters, they're not just here in the United States. They're all over the world, and they're using that influence all over the world. If you didn't know about the Yellow Jackets in France, if you didn't know about the people in Spain, the folks in the UK who were standing up against the crazy COVID lockdowns, these people use that to gain more power, to redistribute the middle class wealth to the upper class, to not even upper class, to that upper echelon of the elite. You understand what's happening and taking place, and some of you bought into this stuff. So I'm saying this to you as an average person. Please, wake up. Wake up. This wasn't about Donald Trump. This wasn't about Orange Man Bad. This wasn't about, some sort of dictatorship. When you have a person using 40 executive orders in the first couple weeks of his tenure, understand you're in a different government in America, a different government. and it's being used right now against the average American. If you don't wake up, you will continue to point the finger at others without having a little bit of humility to say, maybe these folks were right, maybe there's some points here. That's all I'm asking. Can you at least say, okay, I see a little bit of what you're saying. Knowledge, wisdom, but humility will lead you into the truth. The target is you. The target is me.